everyone. Welcome to the Dog Mom Knits YouTube channel. This is podcast episode 31. My name is Amanda, and you can find me on Instagram as Dog Mom Knits and on Ravelry as Dog Mom Knits 08. We do have an email address for this podcast, and that is dogmomknits@gmail.com. I am coming to you from coastal Virginia, where I live with my husband, Sean, our two dogs, Copper and Finley, and our two exchange students, Lorenzo and Simon. This is a knitting podcast where I talk all about my knitting adventures and how knitting is weaving into my very busy boy mom / teacher life. You will find links down below to my Ravelry project page. And that's pretty much it. I have been putting off podcasting for a while because I just have not had time. And the show notes are what take a lot of time. The recording actually isn't too bad, but then to edit it and to update show notes, I have to watch the entire video twice. So an hour to record, an hour to edit, and an hour to do show notes is 3. Of my Sunday, and that's time that I want to spend with my boys. So I'm coming to you today. It is October 1st. We'll talk more about that later, but yeah, I think you're going to see a pared down show notes. So every yarn that I'm using is linked in my Ravelry project page. The bags, the project bags and the progress keepers will not be linked, but I do say what company they're from, and hopefully that's enough that you guys could go and Google them, which is pretty much all I do. If you can't find them, you can send me an email, but I'm hopeful that having kind of a pared down version of the show notes that you're used to isn't going to be a problem. So I am wearing my team cuff down shirt from the Crazy Sock Ladies spreadshirt shop. I do have my own spreadshirt shop. It is linked down below. Excuse me, I just didn't pull something from my spreadshirt shop to wear today. My husband just stopped the dryer, so hopefully that is less noisy, but you will probably hear the washing machine. We are a family of 4 adults. 17-year-old boys are basically adults. We are a family of 4 adults and 2 dogs. That makes for a lot of laundry. And in our downstairs is basically just one big room in our home, which I love. But it does mean that the laundry is right down that hallway. And so you're probably going to hear it. Sean is up and moving around. It's Sunday at, what time is it, Sean?
Like 11 something.
11 something, 11:15, I think it is. 11:21. So Simon and Lorenzo are still upstairs, lazing around as they do, which as they have every right to do. They are busy. We keep them busy. But, yeah. Anyway, you're going to hear noise is what I'm saying. Copper's now asking to go outside. That's going to be a whole thing. My husband is walking to let him out and carrying something that I want to show you guys. Can I show them that? Would that be okay?
I didn't mind.
So my husband is a quilter. He is the guy who sews here on Instagram, or excuse me, here on YouTube and on Instagram. And he is making a quilt with one of his sewing friends who is, it's Sew Becca, right? Mm-hmm. So she is Sew Becca, S-E-W Becca. If you sew, follow her and follow my husband. They are so fun. But my name is Amanda. My mother, since I was as long as I can remember, has called me Amanda Panda. That has been my nickname. So I have always kind of felt a kindred spirit to the giant pandas. I'm so sad they're leaving the DC Zoo because I love going to see them. But a pattern came out for a quilt that Becca wanted to make. Sean was like, I'm going to make it too. And of course, he was like, oh yeah, this one has to be for Amanda. So he was walking past holding them, which is how I got lost on this little tirade. But look at him. Look at it. Okay, so first of all, is my husband not like so stinking talented? But also, is this not super cute? And it's fabric that makes it look like he's wearing a little knitted jumper. And my husband's very proud. I just called it a jumper. A little knitted sweater. He's so cute. And then he's already done another one. Look at him. He's so cute. I love it. And we've picked the fabric for the others. How many are there going to be?
8.
8. There's going to be 8 different pandas on this quilt. And sorry, complete tangent there. It is still morning technically, so I am drinking coffee out of the mug that Simon brought me from the Czech Republic when he arrived in August. I love this mug. It is so great. My hair is doing very weird things. Today is Sunday, October 1st that I am recording this. You will see it on Wednesday, October 4th. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. The reason you have not seen me in a while is because it took a little bit of time for me to get into a rhythm and a routine, being the mom of 2 exchange students, being the host mom of 2 exchange students. I absolutely love it. It is so much fun having both of them, and it is fun watching them make this bond that I know is going to last for their entire lives. But, you know, when you add an extra anything to your family, it adjusts what you do. It adjusts and how you do things. And I would not trade it for the world. Lorenzo, I think the last time I recorded, which I honestly don't even remember. Did I write it down when it was? No, I didn't even write down when I recorded last. Lorenzo had just arrived, and so we were still a temporary placement for him, but we have since decided that he is going to stay with us for the entire school year. So he will be here until June. Simon will be here until June. Finley glitter, Finley fur floating around everywhere. Which is so great, but it did mean that we had some adjusting to do. My school year started. That's already chaotic. But I feel like we're settling into a routine. We're kind of getting into a good place. And I told Sean yesterday that I felt like I was ready to record a podcast, which kind of was a big deal because I did not feel like I was ready to record a podcast until this weekend. I haven't even really been knitting much. As we've just been kind of, again, just settling into our new normal. So we're very grateful for our new normal, but it just took a minute. And by a minute, I mean a month to kind of get good, I guess, in the not at all appropriate for an English teacher way to say that. So there is a glare on my glasses, and I am not 100% sure where that is coming from. Sean, can you come turn the big box light off? Because I think it's that. And I don't even know that it's needed because it's actually sunny outside for the first time in 2 weeks. Okay, no, we do need that. Can you close the blinds? Maybe it's that. Or maybe it's just going to be that episode where there's a glare on my glasses and there's nothing I can do about it. That didn't do anything. So you can just open it. Yeah, I guess this is just going to be the episode of the glare. One of the boys is coming downstairs. Oh, it's Lorenzo. Do you want to come say hi to all the people? You can come around here and say hi. Just like lean into the camera and wave at them. Say hi. So that's hi. Lorenzo. He is our Italian son. He's the one who came second. So technically we call him the youngest. Though he is actually the youngest. Simon is like 3 months older than Lorenzo, I think it is. Lorenzo is typically the one that is the first awake and the first up and moving downstairs. Simon is much more like me, where if he doesn't have anywhere to be, he will happily stay upstairs and just lays in bed. So, Finley fur. Oh my goodness. Okay. I am going to take a drink of coffee, which I just did. I have no finished objects because, again, I was not knitting very much in the month of September. And that's fine because I had other things to do. And I was perfectly happy to do those other things. So let's just go straight into works in progress. You are going to notice that I am not putting the chapter sections in. Like usually I have like a little, like a Wits picture and then music plays, and I don't have time for that. Like, I want to have time for that, but I know that today I do not have the brain space or time to do that. So you're just getting one big long video today. And I hope that's okay. So my first WIT that I'm going to talk about is being housed in a bag that my husband made me. Again, he is the guy who sews. He does not sell his bags, but I am super grateful that, you know, when I ask for one, he makes one for me. And I love this fabric. It is red on the inside. And this is holding something that you guys have seen quite a few times. This is my Vibes tee. Hold on, let me turn to the page in my notebook that actually has the information. I started this on August 10th of this year. I am knitting the Vibes tee by Tiff Nealon. I am using size 5 needles. Yes, size 5 needles. So I will use 5, 4, and 3, which is not what it's called for in the pattern. I got gauge exactly before I blocked it. And because this is sock weight yarn, I went down a needle size after talking to my very good friend, Christina, who is Whiskey Girl Knits. And she is so good at helping people knit sweaters and garments. And so she recommended that I go down a needle size, which is what I was thinking I would have to do. I started this on I said it again. I started this on August 10th, which was my first day back at school. My goal was to split for sleeves by the 21st, which was my first day with the students. And I was able to do that. And now I'm just knitting around and around and around and around. Again, I did not do much knitting in the month of September, so this doesn't have a ton of progress. I might put a progress keeper on here and show, like, this is where I was the last time I podcasted. I think I was in this part, this gray part, the last time I podcasted. So I've got a little bit more. According to the pattern, I am on stripe 23 and I am only supposed to go to stripe 26, but I know that is going to be too cropped for what I like. So I know I am going to go longer, but I will be putting it on, try it on tubing, blocking it, like wet blocking it, washing it, and deciding how much longer I want to go. I think, so for my size, it's supposed to be a gray that's the last stripe, but I think it's going to be the blue that is the last stripe, which will put the ribbing in the pink, which I think would actually be pretty fun because the neck's going to be in the yellow. The neckband's going to be in the yellow. And so I think it would be fun to have the two kind of secondary colors be the neck and the ribbing at the bottom. I love this pattern. I love how it's turning out. This project makes me really happy. It's what I am doing. It's what I'm working on while I'm listening to the Bible every day. So I am doing a Bible reading plan, a chronological Bible reading plan. And we read 2 or 3 chapters of the Bible each day. And this is what I'm working on while I'm doing that. I am using 4 colors of Emma's yarn. I am using, one is Orbit, which is this beautiful kind of, not tonal gray, but like variegated gray with some pops of yellow. This one is called Navy Blazer. The yellow is Buttonwood. And then the pink is called Barbie Girl. The pink is my favorite. I love this pink. I love Emma's yarn. They do such an amazing job with their colors and the way that they dye their yarns. So I'm very excited to have a fingering weight sweater or fingering weight tee. My original kind of big goal was to have this done by the 1st of October. That has obviously not happened. Really, the goal was to be done by the time the Stephen West Mystery Knit Along started. I don't think that's going to happen. So I do think this is going to go into hibernation while I work on the Stephen West Mystery Knit Along, which I'll talk about later during acquisitions. And then I'll pick this back up and work on this, although it might stay in my Bible reading knitting because it is just in the round and I don't have to think about it. So we'll see how complicated the Stephen West is before I make a decision on whether this is going into hibernation. But until Thursday, October 5th, this is going to remain my Bible knitting. I absolutely love it. I think it's going to be so pretty when it's done. And so nice to wear to school with either like my khaki pants or even like a pair of jeans. So I'm really, really, really excited to have this one done. To have this one like going. I do have another sweater on the needles that is in hibernation. It has been on the needles for a year now, I think. And it is a Weekender by Andrea Mowry. And so when this is off the needles, whenever that is, I want to pick back up on the Weekender and have the Weekender be my Bible reading because it's just in the round, and try to get some more progress done on that. So my next work in progress is a new cast-on. I'm housing this in a bag by Molly Klein Design. It's a Gilmore Girls bag because this is for the Knit People Knit Cal 23, which is a Gilmore Girls themed knit along. And so the bag seemed very fitting. I am using Leap of Faith yarns in the Harvest Festival colorway, which was a colorway designed for the knit along and is also Gilmore Girls themed. It is messy, but this is what the cake looks like. I believe I had this on the last podcast and showed it in its skein form. But if you go look up Leap of Faith yarns, she had pictures of it. But it looks like this. It is so beautiful. Oh my gosh, I love it. It did come with a mini, but I am not using it. It was a 20 gram mini in this green. I did not have it in me to try to start switching yarns and do all that other stuff. It doesn't sound like, I mean, it's not a lot of work to do a heel, toe, and cuff in a contrasting color, but it was more work than I was interested in, I guess. We'll phrase it that way. And I wanted to pick a pattern originally that was Gilmore Girls themed. So I was going to do the Morning Coffee Socks by Kay of the Crazy Sock Lady. But again, my brain was like, really? You want to purl all those stitches? And I was like, no, actually I don't. So I remembered a pattern that I knit back in December and January that ended up being too small for me because of the way the pattern is written. But they fit Daria perfectly, our exchange student last year. And I was like, well, maybe it's time to bring that pattern back out, go up a needle size and knit a pair for myself. And it's like the exact pattern that this yarn needed. So again, this is Leap of Faith Yarns, Harvest Festival, and I am knitting the Twisted Staircase Socks by Heather Kelly of Craft Nut Yarns. So this is what it looks like knit up in this pattern. I did go up a needle size for my traditional. So this is being knit on a US 2. I'm using a beautiful stitch marker. I'm not 100% sure if that is 3 by the Sea or not. I don't know. It's probably 3 by the Sea. But look at that gorgeous texture. To me, this very much looks like what the ground looks like when the leaves have fallen off the trees and are down on the ground, which is my favorite thing about fall, is walking through crunching leaves. And that to me is just this, like exactly what this looks like. And I was worried because usually with my gauge and the size needle that I use to knit my socks, that it does this like weird spiraling thing with the colors. And I was worried it would do that. And I wasn't sure I would like it if it did that. But because of the pattern that I'm using, it is not doing that at all. It is just making this gorgeous, like I said, this gorgeous pattern, or this gorgeous like pattern to the colors that to me just looks like the ground when the leaves have fallen. And I absolutely love it. I am taking this on our adventures when we go on the weekends with the boys to do things around the area, but it's my like car knitting. I have to count, I mean to 4, so it's not hard, but I have to count. So I'm not going to walk around a museum doing this, but I am knitting, but I knitted in the car. So all of this except the cuff has been done just in the car as we've been going on our adventures. I started this on September 22nd because that's the day the knit along started. There is a deadline for the knit along. I can't remember. It's like in November sometime. So I am hopeful that I can get this done within the knit along. That would actually be really cool to then wear these on Thanksgiving morning or Thanksgiving Day, because Thanksgiving is so very fall and these socks to me are so very fall. So yeah, I'm looking down at my notes. I think that's it that I wanted to tell you. I think I know what I'm going to do with that mini skein, and I'll talk about that when I get to acquisitions, because I actually need y'all's help. The next project that has been getting a lot of attention, I have 4 whips that are getting a lot of attention right now, is being housed in this bag by Lone Larch Designs. She does not make project bags anymore, but this is where my muscle burrows live. So I always have a muscle burrow on the needles. I was working on a muscle burrow out of my Love and Speckles yarn from Little Wolf Knits. But I was talking to Simon, and Simon told me that he doesn't really like to wear hand knit socks because they're too thick. And, you know, I was offended for a minute, and then I got over it. Just kidding. He did tell me, though, like immediately after, he was like, but I would love a hand knit hat to wear when I'm skiing, because he loves to go skiing when he's home in the Czech Republic, because he wouldn't love to go skiing in the Alps. I mean, let's be honest, like, come on, even I would do it and I would probably die, but I would die happy. So I started a muscle burrow for him. The school that I teach at, which is where Lorenzo goes to school, they have a big retreat every year. We go camping in the mountains for 3 days, and I always want like mindless knitting when I'm up there on that trip, like on the drive. It's about a 4-hour drive. And then when I have a couple minutes of downtime, which is funny to say that out loud, but whatever. So I cast this on September 18th, which is the day before we left. I did run the colorway past Simon first just to make sure he would like it. And he liked it. And then when he saw how it was knitting up when I got back from retreat, he liked it even more. So this is Hypnotic yarn. It was a yarnable box colorway. It's called Born to be Mild. It was a sloth themed box, and it's like beautiful variegated gray with browns and like those beautiful pops of blue. And again, I'm knitting the Muscle Burrow by Isolde Teague, and I am tangled. Of course I am. Come on. There it goes. So this is what I have done so far. It looks like this. I think it is knitting up so beautifully as a Muscle Burrow hat. And her base for Yarnable is an 85-15 and 85 superwash merino, 15% nylon. And I just think it gets super soft because of all the wool, all the superwash wool, but it's going to be so warm when it's doubled up on itself. And I just love the way it's knitting up. I knit my muscle burrows on a US 4, and I am knitting him the child/adult small. Because I think I knit on bigger needles, but I knit like down a size is basically what I figured out works for me when I'm knitting my muscle burrows. So let me just show you that again because I am so impressed with how good it looks. His face when he saw it, when I showed it to him after the retreat that we went on, and he could see a lot of the progress, his face was so funny. He was like, his eyes got really big and he got like this really big smile. That is when I know that he really likes something. And he said it reminds him of the woods where he goes skiing. So the snow, the sky, or the lakes and the trees. And so I think this is going to be really great for him. In theory, this will be done for Christmas this year. We'll see. This is what I'm taking when we go on our adventures. So when we are like walking around a museum, like yesterday we were walking around Yorktown, I was just walking and knitting away on my muscle burrow hat. Well, on Simon's muscle burrow hat. I think that's all I wanted to say about that. I'm really happy with how this is turning out. This is like, I keep reaching for this. Like I want to sit and knit on it when we're out on our adventures because I just think this is so, like this is turning out so beautifully. I'm realizing I had a pen on my bag and I don't have one anymore. So I guess he came on here at some point. Interesting. Anyway, look at a little owl pin on the outside of my bag and he's not there anymore. I don't know. I didn't notice until now. The last project that I am working on pretty consistently are the temperature scarves that I am knitting for both of our exchange students. I'm holding it in a bag by Barley Pearls. I'm not going to show all the yarn because it's like 6 different colors, though I do, because I'm changing colors like every 5 degrees. Bless you, husband. The scale that I made, I'm changing colors every 5 degrees. And next year, if I do this, it is not going to be 5 degrees because I am changing colors way too much. I'm knitting all the colors are Knit Picks Brava Sport. So you can see them right there. Those are all the colors that I'm using and the temperatures that I'm using. I have a booklet for each boy from Mad Cow Mandy Designs. This is Simon's. Lorenzo has one as well. I started recording the temperatures on the day they arrived. So Simon arrived on the 19th. If we go somewhere, I write where we went and I get the temperature from the location where we were. So like we went to Yorktown yesterday, so I'll get Yorktown's temperature for what goes in the temperature blanket. I'm knitting these on a US 6. I cast on 40 stitches. It is still attached. They are both still attached to a yarn ball. So this is going to be a little interesting to try to show, but that's okay. All right. So this is Lorenzo's and what it looks like right now. I put a little Snoopy progress keeper on his to help me know that this is his because he loves dogs. And this is Simon's. Sorry, guys. This is Simon's. I put a little cookie progress keeper on his because he and I are like our little cookie people in the house. So love it. We are starting to finally get some more like fall cooler temperatures here in Virginia. So I think that's going to be really fun because I think it's going to start having some different colors showing up in the scarves. I am knitting I'm doing the average temperature. So the high and the low average together. And the app that I'm using is Weather Underground. And they do the averages for me. So I just have to go to the day, tell it what city that I'm using. And it tells me what the temperature, what the high was, the low was, and what the average is. So I don't even have to do any math. And that's really lovely. But that's it. I'm not doing that every day. That was the original plan, was that I was going to knit on it every day. But it is a little like fiddly because I'm consistently changing colors. So what's working better right now is that on Sundays, I write down the week, from Monday to Saturday or Sunday to Saturday. I write down all the temperatures and then I knit the 7 rows for that week. And that's been working pretty well. So yeah, not anything major to talk about there. The pattern that I'm using, I don't think I said that, is the Knit Wit Temperature Scarf on Ravelry. And again, my Ravelry project page will be linked down below. So those are the only 4 projects that are getting, I have lots of whips, you guys. Oh my gosh, my life. But they're the only ones that are getting a ton of attention right now. I do kind of in my mind have a plan moving forward for the end of the year. I do have a pair of socks for my mom that I really, really want to gift her for Christmas this year, because she will be having her 2nd knee replacement surgery in January. And I think having a pair of hand knit socks would be really nice while she's recovering from that surgery. But I think I'm going to focus on those the week of Thanksgiving because I get the whole week off. And then I have a couple other Christmas presents that I'm crossing my fingers I'll be able to get to. But the only one I'm really putting pressure on myself to get done is the pair of socks for my mom. That's the only one that I'm if I don't have that done for Christmas, I would be a little disappointed. The other 2 that I'm thinking about, it'll be okay if they're not done until January or February. So let's talk acquisitions because, oh my goodness, when you don't have time to knit, just shop for yarn. It's the same thing, right? My life. Sean goes, "Did you buy more yarn?" And I was like, "No." And he goes, "Oh, I guess your Stephen West just pulled the money for it when it shipped instead of when you bought it." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I guess." And 2 minutes later, I was like, "Oh wait, no, I did buy more yarn." And he goes, "Seriously?" And I was like, "Well, I didn't remember." It's for a good cause, right? The cause being my mental health. No, I'm actually gifting. Anyway, we'll talk about it. Let's just talk about it. My podcasting box is down here. Down here, you couldn't even see my hand. Down here, it is full of stuff that I have bought. So let's just reach in it's a little goodie bag, and whatever I pull out is what I'll talk about first, shall we? So there will likely be a lot of crinkling during this part because most of this is still in its original packaging, and because Finley leaves her glitter all over my house, also known as Finley fur, I'm not, I'm trying to keep everything in its packaging. But the first, and this is not any order that it arrived. This is I'm literally reaching into the bag and pulling it out. But this is from Cesium Yarn. They did it's an October advent based on the board game Clue and the movie Clue, which is one of Sean's absolute favorite movies. It is super fun. I did not get the full October advent because I am getting a full December advent, and I knew that was going to be a lot of yarn coming in the last 3 months of the year. So I got the one kit that they offered, which I thought was very sweet that they offered it this way, where you open a mini skein on the 3 Saturdays in October, and then, is that right? the fourth Saturday, you get like the full skein, but you still get all the clues along the way. So you're not opening something every day, but you're still kind of participating in the fun of the advent and the clues that come with it. So I am planning on recording myself opening these and talking through it. I have not opened it because I do not want any spoilers. And so I'm not touching this until next Saturday. There is a bag of extras because I did spring for the extras. And there's a letter in here talking about like the way it works. But again, I'm probably going to record it and upload it. But this is my first one. I'm really excited about it again because it is like Sean's favorite, like one of Sean's favorite movies. And I like the idea of it being like a fun mystery, you know, because Clue is my favorite board game. I'm going to set that up there so I know where it is. But yeah, Clue is my favorite board game. We have not played it with the boys yet. I feel like we should break it out and play it while I'm working on it. Well, maybe while I'm working on that. It is fingering weight yarn, sock weight yarn. I think I might do the Scrappy Stripey Socks by the Crazy Sock Lady, but we'll see. Okay, so the next thing that arrived is I am part of the Love and Stitches membership, and she did a dye event with Ruby and Roses, and they came up with a, I forgot what it's called. Falling for, nope, I can't remember now. It had a cute little name though, but it was a custom colorway for the Love and Stitches membership, dyed by Ruby and Roses. I'm not taking it out of the packaging again because Finley glitter, but it is gorgeous. So crazy beautiful. And I don't know what base she uses, but this is like the softest yarn I have ever felt. It is an 8515, 437 yards. I will be knitting socks out of this, and I am so excited. It is the softest yarn I have ever felt outside of like a mohair or something like that. So I am really excited to knit a pair of socks out of this. When I will knit the socks, I have no idea. This is just going into stash, and it's beautiful, and I will knit it eventually. It's like back here, you can actually see it. Like these colors here and these colors here. Oh, it's so good. Okay, and my drawers for my sock yarn will not hold any more socks. Like, will not hold any more yarn. So that's a fun problem to have. Will that one hold any more? No. So when you have this problem where like your bin is full, do you take that to mean that you need another bin or you need to get rid of yarn? Because to me, it means I need to buy another bin. But I'm just curious if that's just me. So leave a comment down below. If your bin of yarn is full, does your brain say buy another bin? Or does your brain say do something with that yarn? I'm about to buy another bin. Actually, I don't need to. We have bins in the kitchen. BRB. I remembered that we had these from when we were organizing our whole closet and like all the small things that get like shoved into our hall closet, like extra light bulbs, nails for hanging stuff, all that, you know, all that stuff, all different types of tape, everything. So I remembered we had these. So I might be just putting some of my sock yarn in here and putting it underneath this basket, which is my project bags, because if this is full, in my mind, that means I need a new bin. That does not mean that I need to use my yarn. Because why would it mean that? As part of the Love and Stitches membership, we did a September stash swap. So I was matched with a very sweet lady named Pam. And I told her, I was like, not picky. I was like, I just want fingering weight yarn. Send me whatever. And she sent me this absolutely gorgeous skein of yarn from, yeah, I'm not going to be able to pronounce that correctly. So I will simply show it. That's the name of the yarn. It is 80% merino and 20% polyamide. It is so pretty. It reminds me of the Love and Speckles yarn that Brianna of the Little Wolf Knits dyed, which is really cool because I couldn't decide if I wanted to do a muscle burrow out of that or a pair of socks. And I did a muscle burrow, and now I can knit a pair of socks. And then it came with 2 minis, which I think are just so pretty with this. And I absolutely love it. Again, it's just going into stash. I have no idea when I will actually do anything with that. Because I didn't, well, some of this yarn I bought with the intention of knitting something with it. And some of this yarn had no intentions. All right, I'm looking for the next thing I'm going to show because I've got an order in my head now that I've started this. Okay. I apologize for the crinkling. I am in Tia's Terrific Threads Patreon group, and I'm in the tier that gets yarn, stitch markers, like a full skein of yarn, stitch markers, and minis every month. And I just joined, but I am so grateful that I did. So the August box came, or the August package came. It wasn't really a box. And she makes these stitch markers. So I got an airplane. I think everybody got the same ones. A palm tree. I'm trying to block my face so that it'll actually focus, but I don't think it's going to. What my parents would call a boat drink. Whoops, I dropped one. What my parents would call a boat drink, because my parents love to go on cruises. It is right there by the rug. Thank you. A camera. And a passport. So those are gorgeous and lovely, and I love them, and they will go into my bin of Progress Keepers, which I have right here next to my knitting chair. She said, and so I got 2 minis. They are both gorgeous. It's like this beautiful dusty purple and this beautiful dusty pink. And I will see if they have colorway names on them. They do not, which is more than fine. And then the skein of yarn I got is called Always, and it's a mistake skein. I mean, look how fun that is. And as soon as he saw it, my husband was like, oh, those would make a really nice pair for me. So Tia, if you're watching this, which if you are, can I just geek out for a second that you are watching my podcast? But you're amazing, and I love you, and I love your yarn. So yes, my husband will probably be getting a pair of socks out of this. So, and then that's it's 80% superwash, blue face Leicester, and 20% nylon. I just noticed that. I've not knit with BFL before, but I am excited to knit with BFL because I've heard really good things about how sturdy they are. And my husband, like socks that are knit with BFL are very sturdy. And my husband wears his socks that I knit him to work. So I think this could be, like, the fact that it's BFL could be a really nice extra bonus for him to make it more, to make the socks more sturdy. So I need to decide where I am putting the minis, because this is what I wanted to talk to you about. Part of why I joined the tier, the highest tier in Tia's Terrific Threads, is because I wanted the minis, because I really like the idea of doing a blanket like what the Crazy Sock Lady is doing with the minis that she gets in some of the Patreon groups that she's a part of. Do I do a DK weight jelly roll? Do I do a fingering weight jelly roll? Do I not do a jelly roll at all and I do a completely different blanket that you're going to recommend to me down in the comments? Finley Fur. What are your thoughts? I have the jelly roll pattern. I know where to find the notes that Kay has made on how to make it a DK weight jelly roll. What do you think? Do you have another blanket for minis that you really like? If so, please leave it in the comments down below. I am really, really, really interested in knitting like those two every month, keeping it very simple. That's why I like the jelly roll, because it's just knit stitches. But I don't know, maybe there's something else out there. So if there is, if you know of a different blanket for mini skeins, let me know in the comments down below. And my husband did bring me two of these bins. So I might put the minis in there too. Because for the Gilmore Girls socks, because I didn't use the mini skein with the socks, I would probably put it in my blanket, like what I'm in my head is my jelly roll blanket, but what you guys may talk me into doing something else. Okay, next. Told you there's a lot. I picked up this bag from 3 by the Sea. It is so beautiful. Sunflowers are by far my favorite flowers. And this, because it is, Kim said it's like a like the fabric was printed off of something that was embroidered. Like the picture was an embroidery picture, and then it became the fabric. And so it almost looks like it's 3-dimensional. And I'm just like in awe. This is so incredibly stunning. There's their logo. I am so excited. So I bought the medium size bag, which I am thinking I'm going to use either for my blanket that I'm going to start with my minis, but then I feel like it's going to be too small. Or this is going to be what my West Knits mystery knit along is in. Not 100% sure yet what I'm going to use this for, but I definitely want to use this fall for something because it is absolutely, absolutely gorgeous. Okay. What else? Okay. Couple more skeins of yarn. So Pine and Pearl, who is a yarn dyer out of Canada, and the Kitchen Sink Shop, who is a pattern designer, have teamed up, and they had kits for 3 skeins of yarn, 3 patterns with a Little Women theme. I love Little Women. Little Women is actually the musical the school that I teach at is doing in the spring. And I am involved in that. I think my official title is production assistant, but I do a lot with the sets and the props. And so 3 skeins of yarn, 3 patterns, and there's 3 adults, the theater director, the music director, and myself. And I saw the names of the yarns and I was like, okay, Beth's Piano, that has to be the music director. Christmas Morning, that has to be the theater director. And then Not Empty Now, which is the song at the end that Joe sings with Professor Bear, which is like such a cool moment. And so I was like, okay, yeah, I'm going to have to grab that and knit us all a pair of socks that we can wear during show week. So the yarn came just recently. Again, I'm not taking it out because Finley fur, and I'm not knitting these until January probably, but look how gorgeous. It's so pretty. So this one is Beth's Piano. Hold on. This is Christmas Morning, and this is Not Empty Now. So this will be the music director, theater director, and myself. And Beth's Piano, the pattern came out today, and it is so pretty. And it's simple, but like simple for me to knit, but it looks so, so pretty. And I cannot wait to knit this up and be able to gift this to them as a way of just saying thank you for letting me be involved in the production, but also like something that we can all share together during show week. So I think that's going to be really, really fun. And the bin that I grabbed is already full. Oh my goodness. Okay, that's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. Over the summer, Mustache Yarn did a fundraiser. Like if you bought yarn, you got like part of the money went to Maui and helping after the fires in Maui. This yarn is called Hawaii Volcanoes. And I thought this was just so beautiful. And I wanted to help, but I didn't know how to help. So I found this and I was like, okay, yes, we'll do that. It is her perfect set, perfect match set. So it's 250-gram skeins that when you start at the same point in each one, they make perfectly matched socks. Sean claimed this one as well. I just don't know if for sure he's getting this one. These colors are so pretty and the yarn base is so soft that I think there's every chance that he asked for these and they're going to be mine. Sorry, husband. Slush. Okay, yeah, that's not going in there. Yeah. The last thing that I ordered, my gosh, it's like the longest segment. I told myself over the summer that I was not going to participate in the mystery knit along, the Stephen West mystery knit along. I told Sean that when the time came and I said I'm going to do the mystery knit along, he was to tell me no. You said you don't want to do the mystery knit along. And he released the information about Geo Gradient and I said I want to do it. And Sean said, but you said you said for me to tell you. And I was like, I know what I said, but I really want to do it. And my husband, being a crafter himself, was like, well, if you really want to do it, you should just do it. And I was like stash diving and trying to find skeins of yarn that were in the gradient, like what he had planned for the project. And I did not have anything. And so when he released his projects, or excuse me, his kits that he had put together, you can sit in Sean's chair. Do you want to come say hi? I'm like recording a podcast.
No.
Okay. Lorenzo did, so I didn't know if you wanted to. When Stephen West released the kits, I went and looked, just like, I've never ordered a kit from him. I wasn't sure if I was going to, but I was like, let me just go see what he has, because I couldn't make a kit from Stash. And I found one that I really, really liked. And when you order from him, you get a bag designed for the mystery knit along. So this is the Geo Gradient kind of logo, I guess. And the yarn that I picked is Holst yarn. It is the, super soft, 100% wool. Each one is 50 grams. And I have 4 colors: Candy Floss, Allium, Peony, and Comfrey. And so I got this kit. It is 100% wool. I said that already. Sorry. It is Australian wool, if I remember correctly. And so I think that's really fun. It is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. It is this beautiful gradient of pink that I think is going to be really, really pretty. Finley wants to lay in the sun, and Copper is currently laying in the sun. So that's very disappointing for Finley. He sent along information about the MCAL. I have already purchased the pattern. So when the pattern drops on, the first clue drops on October 5th, I will be ready to go. I cannot decide if I want to keep it in the tote bag that came with it, or if I want to use my sunflowers, or if I want to use my sunflowers for something else. Just use this. For right now, it's just hanging out in this so that I know where it is. My project bag can go up there until I know what I want to do with it, because I want it to be something special. And I'm looking in my podcasting box, and finally it is empty. Oh my goodness. So many acquisitions. With more on the way, because I do know I have ordered things that are not here yet. Which is insane. So let's move on to Dog Mom Knits news. I am trying to get back into a podcasting routine, because I have not been in one, obviously, because I don't know when the last time you saw me was. I think it was a month ago. I'm going to try getting back to every other Sunday, but hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll be able to record every 2 weeks. Maybe I could do it on a Saturday if we're not doing something, because we're doing something on a Sunday. I don't know. We're just going to play it by ear. And it may be that it's more like once a month for a little while. I am going to do Vlogmas this year, so you will see me very consistently in December. I'm just not sure how much you'll see me before December. I did announce the 2 giveaway winners last episode, and one of the giveaway winners contacted me, but Rebecca did not. So if you entered the giveaway on episode 29, my birthday giveaway, and your name is Rebecca and you did not watch episode 30, please make sure you watch it, because if I haven't heard from you by the next time I record, I will draw a new winner and announce it on episode 32. So I think that's it for knitting stuff. If you're here for life stuff, great. If not, thank you so much for tuning in. Life has been busy. Busy in a lot of ways. Busy at school, because school's just busy always. Busy at home because I have double trouble living in my house. They're both sitting here, but only one of them is listening to me right now. Oh, he's smiling at me because he knows I'm not wrong. No, he's shaking his head. Are you shaking your head because I'm not wrong, or shaking your head because you don't agree?
I don't agree.
Oh, he doesn't agree with me. That's fine. He's entitled to be wrong. So yeah, I got double trouble living with me. Triple trouble if you add in my husband. Oh my goodness. No, it's been really good. It's just been really busy. Like, we're trying to go and see all the things. Simon is taking history this semester. So we've been to Jamestown and Williamsburg and Yorktown. As he's been studying that stuff in his history class. We went to the state fair last weekend. I posted about that on Instagram, but I was very excited. My socks got the blue ribbon this year, which is pretty cool. And I don't know if you've noticed, but this ribbon, this ribbon right here is my best in section from last year. They forgot to send it to me, but they gave it to me when I was there at the fair this year. I entered my shawlography shawl last year into the state fair, and it won best in section for knitting. So that's pretty awesome. They thought to give me that. Sean asked, and I just thought that was really sweet. So yeah. What else? What other adventures have we been on? I think that's it. It's been a lot of history stuff and wanting to take them to the places that are near here that are historical and beautiful, and places that Sean and I love to go. School is good. I love my students. I say that every year, but I really do have the absolute best students ever. They are so kind and so generous and so compassionate, and they are just so much fun to teach. Like, I love, I don't love when my alarm goes off in the morning, but I love why my alarm goes off in the morning. So busy, but really good. I am reading a book right now called Moose, Mousse, and Murder. It's by Elizabeth Logan. I'm not really finding myself wanting to read at night before I go to bed, and that is a big bummer. So I'm trying to find that reading mojo. If you have any suggestions for how to get reading mojo back, excuse me, please leave a comment down below. I haven't really been watching anything. And that's not even true. I've been watching Xbox. The boys, my husband has an Xbox. The boys have been playing it quite often in the evenings. And I have found myself just kind of watching them play, and I'm sitting and knitting and they're playing a game, and I'm asking questions like, the heck are you doing? And what's the point of this game again? And Simon gets really annoyed with me because every time he dies, I ask him, like, did you just die? And he nods his head, and I'm like, were you supposed to? Because obviously I know he wasn't. So, because I'm just a great host mom, like constantly building up their self-esteem. It's, it's one of my gifts. Copper. Did you hear Copper? He's over there getting a suntan. Upcoming adventures. It is fall in Virginia, so we will be going apple picking. I want to take the boys to Monticello, which is Thomas Jefferson's house. And I think that's it. I think those are the only ones that we have planned as of right now for October. I really want to go to Monticello, and I will for sure be going apple picking because I love going apple picking. That's it. I have been rambling at you for an hour now, so I thank you so much for hanging in there with me. Thank you for tuning back in after my little hiatus. I hope to see you in 2 weeks. With some progress on some of these whips, and maybe at least one finished clue of the Geo Gradient. That would be awesome. I don't usually keep up because it's always a lot of knitting, but it would be nice to only be like maybe a week behind. Maybe I can try to set it up where I take 2 weeks to do each clue instead of just one. Maybe that could work. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for hanging in there with me. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you, fingers crossed, in 2 weeks. Happy knitting.